getting dark. That can only mean one thing. What's up, everybody? Omega Dudes episode number... I'm running out of fingers. Episode 8. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe. Click the like button. Hit that notification bell. It's right down there. That's where I'm pointing. And comment. Drop some comments in the comment section. New Year's Eve is coming up. It is upon us. And we got a little bit of New Year's stuff to talk about. But first, what about this whole Nashville bombing thing?
It was
Merry
really
Christmas,
weird.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
much-
a great idea.
Yeah, how much
Really
do you
weird
guys
stuff.
how much do you guys know about like all the background with that? Because I did not like a huge deep dive, but I kind of got into it a little bit and a little weird.
Basically, I know he was a fat, old white guy that was it.
Yeah, the pictures I've seen of him were like profile view, so I didn't really see if he was fat or not. But yeah, white guy, looked like kind of middle age-ish, maybe a little bit later middle age. But yeah, Anthony Quinn Warner was his name. So he drove his RV down to downtown Nashville in front of an AT&T building, and as far as all reports say, blew himself up in this RV. So let's back up a little bit.
Yeah,
In
please.
investigating police contact with him, because the FBI said they didn't even have him on their radar. That's not really true, though, because a little over a year ago, I think August of 2019, his girlfriend had called police because she was worried because he was making bombs, so she said, in his RV on his property. And police went over to his property, saw an RV, but there was a fence around the property, and they couldn't see into the RV. They couldn't get in because of the fence. You know, they didn't have any reason to get any legal reason. They couldn't get him to answer the door, so they alerted the FBI to it, and that was about it. There was never an investigation afterwards from the FBI. So yeah, a little over a year later, and he drove himself downtown and apparently blew himself up. One of his neighbors actually said that he talked to him. And he asked him, like, oh, do you do anything special for Christmas? And he just kind of smiled to himself and said, oh, I'm going to be famous.
Oh,
No one's ever going to forget me.
I see a series of red flags that, of course, as it seems so often the case, starts with the feds, the people that we pay our taxes to, the people that are quite often, let's say, bending our constitutional rights, if not breaking them completely from time to time. And they fall, and someone falls through the cracks. What was that one shooter, that shooter in South Florida a few years ago at that high school? That kid, that guy got when he
Nicholas,
that was the whole big.
another.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, he had been there'd been like evaluations and stuff, and like he'd been on and off police radar for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you get, so we got this is the first I've heard that. That's crazy, man. That
bothers me.
This guy was that close, and the feds just let him fall through the cracks. Yeah.
That really bothers me, and it's like I don't mean to take this off on a sideways tangent at all, but I mean this isn't the first time that we've had any type of issue with the feds. I mean, what does the FBI actually do anymore? Everything you hear about, it's well, we told them about it, but they didn't do anything. And then you get all this other, conspiracy theorem stuff. It's like, well, I gave them this information. They just didn't do anything with it. They've had it for 2 years. They didn't do anything with it.
And it's not just the FBI, though. It seems to be a lot of those three-letter agencies. Like, what were we just talking about on Discord the other day? The DEA, where like they busted all those DEA agents. The
I was
drug
about to
party.
say that. Yeah,
it's 30 pounds, guys. 30 pounds of cocaine. Like
at a party.
That's a lot of cocaine.
An office party.
Yeah.
You know what tipped him off? I don't know if you guys read further into that.
About the prostitute?
Yeah. A year before at an office party, a hooker OD'd from them stuffing blow into her lady parts.
Yeah. It was so much that she OD'd. That's a lot of that's a lot.
There's so much corruption there. Like it's like the only thing that I can even compare it to is the Wolf of Wall Street movie. Like it's almost, guys, it's almost as if we have corruption in our government and they shouldn't be trusted.
Don't speak of that, Parrish.
I was about to suggest something along the lines of, if this is how the law enforcement agencies are, imagine how the next step up behaves, because they don't answer to anybody.
Yeah, well, we're starting to sound like we're getting into conspiracy theories, which coincidentally goes right along with this story, because this guy was a major.
They are rife.
This guy was a no. This Anthony Quinn Warner was a major conspiracy nut. I mean, he ran the gamut. 5G, reptilian overlords. He believed all of it. I mean, it was like he was down at the bottom of the. Have you guys ever seen the iceberg level system? There's that famous picture of that iceberg, like above the surface and below, and they have like the conspiracy theory levels from like tip of the iceberg with like 9/11 and stuff, and it goes deeper and deeper until you get to like the reptilian overlords and things like that.
Honestly, no, I would love to see that though.
Yeah, I'll see if I can. I'll pull it up in a second. But yeah, it's they've been using it for a bunch of different levels. But yeah, this guy was he was probably at the bottom of that. And what's a blessing for everybody else and a bad thing for him, which who cares, is that quote where I'll be famous. I'm going to be famous. That's what I'm getting for Christmas. I'm going to be famous, and no one's ever going to forget me. Yeah, but the thing is that you didn't really do that great of a job. I mean, some people were injured. There was some property damage, but this isn't something that's going to go down in history of one of like, it's not an Oklahoma City bombing. You know what I mean? No. So
let me ask this. What was he doing? Like, you say he was a conspiracy theorist, but you also said he parked in front of an AT&T store.
Correct. I'm wondering if maybe it has something to do with 5G. Because
I heard it had something to do with that.
Well, because he was a 5G conspiracy theorist. We already know that. Like his girlfriend and neighbors have confirmed these things. So that was my thought, was maybe...
Before you go further, because I don't actually know what the hell that is, can you elaborate on the 5G conspiracy theorist?
Yeah. So basically, people think there are a lot of things. And with conspiracy theories like this, it really kind of... there's never like a solid way to describe it, but basically in summation of all the different branches of this 5G thing, it can be as little as the frequency is so high that it can like damage your DNA and cause cancer and stuff like that, or it can be as bad as mind control and DNA reprogramming and weird stuff like that. So, and you guys, I'm sure you're familiar with the reptilian overlord thing where people like,
I thought that was, you should have started with that and then started with the crazy stuff.
So with the reptilian thing, it's funny because their main proof, what they love to do is they'll watch, like say they're watching that Mark Zuckerberg, testifying to Congress or whatever the heck. And, they like pausing the stream or pausing the video where like someone has moved, so there's some motion blur, and maybe they'll find a frame where like their eye looks kind of like the pupils like vertical, like a lizard or something or a cat, and they'll be like, "See, there's his actual reptilian like
there it is showing."
Yeah, it's showing through. They can't hide it from everybody, you know, at all times. So that's what you'll see a lot with that. I didn't know no reports yet on whether or not this guy was a flat earther. My guess is probably.
Sources say yes.
Yeah. It's a good thing. That he had some training with the bombs. Apparently he was military or something like that, but he had some training. He knew how to make bombs. So it's a good thing that it wasn't as bad as it potentially could have been. So I'll say that.
I mean, Go ahead.
I'm gonna get yelled at by some friends if I don't say this. There's a spectrum to everything, and I think that the most important thing, and I don't want to get too deep into conspiracy theory stuff, but the most important thing is I think was people need to stop I think just as a blanket statement with life in general in this age of the internet where there's true free speech, at least for now, and that is that people need to do research. They need to find reputable sources and people that are trustworthy to get their information from, because there's
a lot
upsides
of
and downsides
false
to
information out there because of free speech. Anybody can say whatever, and when people read that and think that's a verified source, that's how. Yeah.
And there's a spectrum too. So if you say, "Oh wow, that's interesting. This is questionable. Maybe we should look into this," then you're going to have someone coming in from the freaking, from the top rope, coming and hitting you with China's reprogramming your brain with 5G. Well, okay. So I've got questions about 5G. I don't know a whole lot about it, but there's a lot of real estate between here. Oh, this is a technology that was born in this communist country that does not have our best interests as Americans at heart, to this way over here.
There's a lot of real estate between it might be bad for people because of this frequency, and it's about mind control and enslavement.
Exactly.
Yeah. Enough said.
A lot of real estate.
So speaking of new technologies, have you guys heard about these Apple M1 processors that they got in their new computers?
No.
Is that the new military carbine? That's what it sounds like to me.
Actually, no. So it's really kind of cool. I did a little bit of a dive into it because I wanted to know what all this stuff was about, because I kept seeing M1 everywhere.
And they call me the nerd.
Yeah, well, okay. So I'm not an Apple fanboy by any means. I do work on Apple stuff at home, work Windows. Actually, I kind of prefer Windows because Apple's been really pissing me off lately. But anyways, this is really cool. So everybody out there that doesn't know, pretty much every computer system up until this point has been using Intel or AMD, but Intel x86 technology, which AMD uses as well. It's basically the processor that runs everything. Macs back in the 90s up until the mid 2000s used a different processor structure that was now I'm gonna completely forget what it was called, but it was a different processor architecture. And basically the difference is Intel's requires a lot of excess code to make things appear like they're running fast or appear like they're running smoothly. Apple, or not Apple's, but this other processor tech that's been around since like the 80s is more of a quick code system. So basically Intel processors take a lot longer to process. If you say you hit the T key or something on your computer, the processor has to process that. It'll take longer on an Intel processor, draw more power than these other processors, right? So Apple was using those up until like mid 2000s, realized Intel was faster at the time. They switched over. So they went from the whole Power Mac thing, the G5s, to the, Intel Macs, and Macs have had Intel ever since. But what they did was they asked Intel to make processors for the iPhone. And Intel, being the geniuses that they were, said, absolutely not. Well, the iPhone caught on, sold like wildfire. They went with this other processor tech, which I need to look up. It's a 3-letter word, starts with an A, and I can't remember off the top of my head. But
AMD?
Not AMD. It's I can't believe I'm forgetting it. Yeah, it's a technology. Maybe one of you guys could look it up or something. But anyways,
that's my only contribution.
Yeah, it's been used in mobile tech since the iPhone came out, right? And it's been used in everything. It's huge, right? So Intel processors are still being used in all these computers and in Macs up until just last year, but the progress that they've made in speed has been decreasing, whereas this other tech, these mobile processors, have been increasing steadily, right? So since Apple has been investing so much, that's one of Apple's processors, but what's the actual like architecture behind it? It's not x86, it's the
SoC.
No, it starts with an A. Regardless,
ARM.
ARM. Yep, ARM is exactly what it is. So they've been using these ARM processors for their mobile technology and developing spending a lot of money on R&D. Well, it's been getting to the point now where their phones, the iPhone 12, is working as fast as like the processors used in the iMacs, these i9s that are like super fast, right? So Apple's like, well, wait a second. Let's throw one of these in a computer and see what happens. So what they did was they designed a mobile processor that was meant to handle the desktop environment, threw it in there, and it's fast as hell. It's real fast. Not only that, but when you're scrolling on phones, it's really smooth. You know, when you scroll on a computer, it's not quite as smooth. It's kind of choppy. It's because of that processor, the clock cycles, how much time it takes to process all that information. The mobile stuff, it's really smooth. On the desktop, same damn thing. Really smooth, really responsive, and really fast. Not only that, it requires like so much less power, because that was one of the pros for the mobile thing, because they have these small batteries, right? Intel processors, like, 125 watts an hour or something like that. These ARM processors, like 5 watts per hour. So anyways, this is where everything's going. This is the new tech. It's really kind of cool, actually. So we're going to start seeing more and more. Go ahead.
Is it where everything's going though? Or does Apple own the tech? Like, do they have this thing trademarked down to, or copyrighted down to?
So the ARM technology is not owned by Apple. They have like a long-term partner license with them, but in their licensing agreement, they could develop their own. And that's what they did. They bought out a company that was like the leading R&D company for these ARM processors back after like the iPhone 4, I think. So the iPhone 5, I think, was the first one that had their own chip put in it. But it's going to be just like the iPhone changed the mobile scene. This is going to change it. If nothing else, it's going to change the laptop, everything scene for absolute sure. There's actually videos out there of people with iPhone 12s with the little iMovie app putting in 10-bit video, which, 10-bit 4K or whatever, that's big video files, and encoding them next to an iMac, with these super high-end Intel processors, and the phone does it like in, an eighth the speed, maybe. That's how fast these processors are for this stuff. So it's really kind of cool. Really cool. So in layman's terms, for the benefit of maybe some of the people out here that are maybe not as technologically or tech savvy.
Basically, what he's saying is, if you're involved in media, you do any type of audio or video production whatsoever, it's going to save you about 80% of your day.
Okay,
yeah,
so guys, look.
Not even. You're going to have a laptop that with regular use can last 5 days off a single charge.
So, Chris gave his bit on it. Really got detailed. Chaz kind of simplified it a little bit. And here's where Parrish comes in.
Oh, shit.
It's real fast. Real fast.
Yes.
He went full retard.
Was that too slow?
Never go full retard.
Real fast, folks. That's in a nutshell. That's all you need to know if you're not big into tech.
Is that mobile processors from mobile devices are starting to come into personal computers, and that's where things are most likely going to go. Apple just, that was a huge technological leap, put it that way. We haven't had something like that for a little while now, so it's cool. So, yeah, Chaz.
Small stuff.
Yeah, if it's been for a while, I'm trying to think of what probably with mobile phones is when the last technological leap was, really, as far as I can.
Everything's been with mobile phones. I mean, I mean, with the exception of the electric car and Tesla, I mean, there really hasn't been a big major technological advancement. Something that really revolutionized anything. There really hasn't been.
Not really. Not as far as at least computers go. Battery tech has gotten better. It's been progressive, but this is cool. And this is just the very first implementation of this. And what's crazy is that these computers run programs because nothing right now is really designed to take advantage of this. It's all brand new except for Mac stuff. But if you put like the Adobe Creative Suite with all the video and audio editing programs that artists use, it's not optimized for that, but it runs it better than the Intel chips do. It's really fascinating how incredible this is. So yeah, we'll see. It's going to be
what's really nice is going to be the 2 hours of time that it normally takes you to download all of the workarounds and all of the crap to make your stuff that's not made by Apple work on Apple is going to take you like, it used to take you 2 hours. Now it'll probably take you like an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes tops.
Yeah,
so
probably even longer because it's all this new M1. They're calling it Apple Silicon, so there's probably going to be a whole bunch of new glitches and everything that come along with it. But that aside, it's cool. It's something that gets me excited because whenever there's a technological like leap, something that's really, they call it disruptive technology, something that just shakes things up because it's so clearly better. That makes everything better. Everything rises to meet that. So that's cool. Everything's about to get a lot better.
While we're on the nerd topic here.
Yeah, what hasn't gotten a lot better, Chaz?
Hold on.
Yeah.
How about DC's graphics? They could really use this damn thing. Have you seen the new Wonder Woman movie?
So I have not seen it like in its entirety yet, but I have seen a lot of like clips from it, and boy, does it look bad. And I'll say the one thing that really confuses me about it. What was it Justice League where Ben Affleck is talking to Gal Gadot and she says, he's like, you've been dark since World War II
for 100 years.
Yeah. What's that about? Because here she is in 1984. That was only 30 years ago. I'm confused.
I didn't say it made sense, dude.
They wrote themselves into a corner.
This isn't Marvel here. I mean, we're not dealing with professionals.
I just wanted to make sure that I understood that right.
All right. They need to hire somebody to like instruct the CGI people on the laws of physics. Because apparently are completely clueless when it comes to that. That was my take on it too. I mean, there was, Gal Gadot isn't going to be winning any Academy Awards. Not anytime soon. She's I enjoy her for her acting prowess. But I did a good job with the character. She's a good Wonder Woman.
I mean, but she's a good Wonder Woman.
She looks
she's
good as Wonder Woman.
She's and there it is. But the writing was some things were good, some things were not so great. But yeah, that was the laws of physics that they bent. And Chris, explain so Chris has a pretty extensive history in like production and he's, made movies and things like that. He's not going to brag about, but so Chris, tell us about, because we were talking about off air about some of like the fun things that Hollywood likes to do, and they just don't learn that this stuff sucks and it's lame and people like pick up on, but for some reason Hollywood never corrects it.
Yeah, so
dealing with physics and graphics.
Right.
Shit.
When it comes to in particular wire work is what it's called. Whenever an actress has the harness and there's these wire cables that go up to these pulleys, and to do stunts like where they're doing these huge jumps or these flips over obstacles, the problem is that they don't really take physics and how things, not everybody, some people do. Some people really pay attention to some of these things, and a lot of the Marvel movies, I think, do a pretty good job of most of it. But when you have somebody doing a front flip over an obstacle and their legs stay straight the entire time, and as they come down to land, they kind of go this way and then float down to the ground like that, and then just take a couple steps. That's not how things work at all.
Like
that's how you snap your kneecaps.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just looks
the wrong
fake.
way.
You know, because
So
people don't float and then like kind of go forward before they hit the ground. You know, gravity is like exponential. You go faster towards the ground, you know, the more time you're falling. So
but that was the part that baffled me, because like even like the first 5 minutes of the movie, you're watching it and it's like you can even see, you could almost all but see the cables, you know, coming off of these people as they're doing some of the stunts. It's like, really? It was worse. But
what was the thing?
I was about to bring up the mustache.
I was going to talk about the you're talking about the Superman thing.
Yeah,
you say mustache.
Yeah, that was really bad. That was really bad.
That's the quality of work that you were expecting. And the part that baffled the most is this movie was supposed to come out 6 months ago. It's been done, sitting there for 6 months, which means an entire crew, an entire production crew has seen this film in its entirety and went, "That's great."
And had time to really go back through it with a fine-tooth comb. Yeah. What I think the thing that baffled me the most was that whole Kristen Wiig, is that what her name is, the actress? Yeah. Whole her as a cat woman thing.
That was really bad.
What?
Yeah.
That was worse than what's her name in the movie Cats. Like it looked horrible. Horrible.
Yeah. I was going to
really
say
bad.
that was worse writing than the Ghostbusters movie.
Oh,
you know the one I'm talking about.
Which she was also in, right?
Hey, had Kristen Wiig in.
Yeah.
Maybe she's the common variable.
I don't know why they did. That was terrible. That was was bad. When I saw that scene,
for the new one, they do have a new one coming out in 6 months or so.
Yay!
But, we talked about that a little bit.
I don't know. That's going to be hit or miss. But I mean, just with the physics of this, it was. I don't know.
The other thing that really ate me up was kind of going off of like what Chris was saying about like with the flips that defy physics. The thing that really annoys me with movies that don't do this well, every once in a while someone will do it well, but almost no movie does this well, and that is running fast. And there were several instances in this Wonder Woman movie where she is running fast, and it looks terrible. They have the blue screen behind her, or the green screen behind her, and it looks like something from like the 1960s. Like a Cary Grant movie with the crowd travel in the back. That's what it looked like. It was so bad. Specifically, there was a scene where they were taking out this convoy of tanks, and she gets on the ground and she starts running, and it looked so bad. Like the Twilight movies, they did it too, where like you're running through, and it's like, no, who's fooled by this? Like who?
I thought
nobody's fooled by this.
Twilight. Yeah, I thought Twilight looked better than
yeah.
Oh, it did.
It did. A step further. They had her acting like Spider-Man, using the whip and throwing it up. They're in the middle of the desert.
This is the ultimate question, though.
She's flinging this thing in the air. What the hell is it grabbing a hold of?
The ultimate question is, at the end, like the guy like summons like a windstorm or whatever, and she's fighting against the wind and is having trouble with it.
Yeah.
But this is the woman that when they brought Superman back to life took a freaking headbutt from Superman and just shook it off.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and I'm not going to say that I came up with that. That was actually in a YouTube video that I watched about it. I thought it was a great point though, because what the hell?
What I like is we didn't even bother with spoilers with this movie because we're not spoiled. The movie is the spoil.
Yeah. Yeah, it can't
watch
be
the
spoiled.
preview, folks. That's as good as it gets.
And speaking of which, let's get off this topic because I'm disgusted already. So, Chaz, you brought up something.
Buddy, buddy.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Shows, got New Year's coming up, and tomorrow New Year's Eve. I grew up as a pretty big, classic rock fan. One of my favorite bands at the time, middle school, high school era was Kiss. They always put on a pretty decent, New Year's Eve show.
They're definitely a show band.
I mean, they've always been huge in pyrotechnics and this, that, and the other. Well, they've been trying to do a farewell tour for like 2 years now, and anyway. This year, they're doing their typical New Year's Eve show, but since it's going to be the official last one, it's being done in Dubai. It's being streamed live in 4K worldwide.
A lot of Kiss fans in Dubai,
I guess. But they're also going to try and achieve the Guinness Book of World Record for the largest pyrotechnic show history.
That's a lofty goal for sure.
That's why they're doing it in Dubai.
Yeah, no kidding.
Simmons was quoted saying, well, 2020 has been a shit year, and what better way to make everyone feel better than blowing stuff up? Yeah, and you know what? I can get behind that.
I can get behind that too. Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're trying to break a Guinness World Record, that means they're probably going to be spending a lot of money, probably going to be hiring a lot of people to make sure that this is a pretty fancy pyrotechnic show. So, hey, I'd like to watch it. Why not? I mean, they got a lot of money to spend.
Dude, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do on New Year's Eve? You're not going to get together with a bunch of friends. I mean, most places that's illegal anyway. What are you going to turn on the TV and watch the ball drop, watch an empty Times Square?
and as Kiss, what else are you going to do to make yourself relevant? You know what I mean? It's come on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chaz.
Simmons can only have so many reality shows.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a cool dude. You guys should read up on him.
Yeah, I'll say that a lot of it's not that I dislike Kiss by any means. My roommate in college was a huge Kiss fan. He actually bought a set of 4 leather jackets that were custom airbrushed with the 4 Kiss members, one jacket for each one of them. Even got Peter. I don't really know why, but he got him. So he's that big of a Kiss
Peter
fan.
The cat one?
The cat. Yeah. That's it. It's
the Aquaman of Kiss.
And didn't really understand it, but they got some catchy music, I guess. And breaking Guinness World Record with pyrotechnics, that'd be kind of cool. I'm all about that.
It sounds cheesy, but that's classic Kiss. I mean, Gene Simmons is a marketing genius. I mean, the guy invented how to profit on a concept and just run with it. I mean,
the whole thing with flames shooting out of guitars and
he branded that. He branded this. He branded that. He branded the merchandising everything. T-shirts, lunchboxes, all that. I mean, that all started with them.
Yep.
So.
No, that's
typical Kiss fashion. It's like, well, we're gonna go out with a bang. Well,
but here's my question though: haven't they already done 15 farewell tours?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I'm saying. What are they farewelling?
Why don't they just? Why don't they just call it
the last farewell tour? Paul Stanley fell off stage and broke a hip.
Oh, yeah, that's not good for your image at all.
Yeah, that's not great. They're getting up there.
That's terrible.
Well, in another 5 or 10 years, one of them will want a new 24 karat gold toilet, and they'll go do another farewell tour, and a lot of people will shell out the cash, man.
Yeah, especially people in other countries where they haven't toured yet. Yeah.
I mean, look, I was never I wouldn't say I'm a Kiss fan. I like Kiss just as much as everybody. I'm a vanilla Kiss fan. And I worked one of their shows when I was doing the EMS stuff, and I was backstage working one of their shows. And so I got to watch the show from backstage, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they put down a freaking dude. They put up a good show. A good show. They really do. Yeah, I stood there and was looking for some place to lean over on the side stage, and it was like Gene's axe, and I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't touch that.
Yeah, you knock it over and it's still like plugged in. You hear all this feedback, and
yeah,
you detonate the pyro charge and it lights the stage on fire. And
you have knocked over my axe.
Is that how Gene Simmons?
It seems you've knocked over my axe.
I was just thinking more like, local EM or local paramedic burns down concert hall, kills all 4 members of KISS in one fell swoop. So, speaking of New Year's,
speaking of burning down concert halls,
we thought it'd be good for some reason to talk about New Year's resolutions and some really bad ones.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I got my list of the top 3 worst possible New Year's resolutions.
Well, let's hear it, Chaz.
I will say first that I didn't write any down, so maybe I'll come up with one as we're doing this, but I knew you were going to be all over it, so I'll more play the role of the judge of whether or not these are that bad. So let's hear.
All right, drum roll. My number 3 is people always say stuff like they want to, I want to be happier. I want to do this. Basically, they want to change their attitude and change who they are. After the first, that's not even humanly possible. Stop lying to yourself. You're a joke.
Yeah,
but it's horrible.
Yeah, that's pretty good, because that's not something that you can do. Like, you can't just pull a 180 like that. That's a lifestyle thing. You got to really work on yourself for that.
Exactly.
So, unless you have a whole plan on how you're going to do it, it's not like I'm just going to change who I am immediately at midnight. Then
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
I give that the stamp of approval.
My second one, actually fairly common. There's a lot of people, there's a trend that goes, they quit their job. They go get another job.
Really?
Don't. That's just stupid.
So people actually do this for New Year? Like they'll quit their job?
Yeah,
they've been miserable at their resolution. No, I mean, it's they've been in a job for 5-10 years, whatever. They hate it. They're miserable. They want to go and they want to, change careers or something. Well, they finally just get that wild hair up their ass and quit and then go do what they want to do. It's actually a fairly common resolution.
Wow.
No joke.
I actually have never heard of that resolution. So now I kind of want to look it up, because that's a ridiculous resolution.
Yeah.
It's terrible, ridiculous. Resolution. So, do they have something already lined up that they're just hopping to, or they're quitting just flat out and they're going to look for another job?
Sometimes.
I would assume the reason it's a resolution and not just a decision, is because they got to get things lined up and stuff,
Well, and a lot of times it's just some people just don't have it in them to quit, and they just want to rip it off like a Band-Aid, so it's just, okay, I'm done. It's in my head. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to quit.
Yeah. I can definitely understand feeling like that, because I've definitely worked jobs where it's been horrible, and I'll quit. I have no problem with that, but I could understand somebody maybe that isn't in a position where they can, or maybe just doesn't have the fortitude, the emotional fortitude or whatever to do it. But it's still, that's a rough one. I don't know. Most times I'd say that's definitely a bad New Year's resolution. Okay. So this, how many did you say you had, Chaz?
I got 3 or 4?
3. Okay. 3. So this is the top one then. This is
my worst
one. Okay.
You don't want to win back your ex.
Oh,
it's a bad idea.
No,
it's your ex for a reason.
That's a bad one.
For a reason.
Or he needs to stay that way.
Oh, here. Yes.
Yeah.
No. I know it's New Year's.
That's terrible.
And most of you guys are drunk. No. Bad idea.
Yeah, and especially if you this year probably not, but any other year, if you just happen to be out and about and you run into your ex, even if he, she is all lonely because everybody's, kind of with their significant other and it's, the midnight kiss or whatever. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Keep
bad
that,
idea.
Don't live in the
keep that in
past.
the rear view. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Bad idea.
Correct.
yeah. You don't want to start a new year how you've ruined so many years in the past. Yeah. That's a good one. Okay.
That is
That's
a good one.
What
But
about
I will.
Did you have one?
Yeah, I've got some. I will start with the obvious. Okay, when we're talking about resolutions, the elephant in the room, joining a gym. Obviously,
that's
it's almost cliche how bad of an idea it is to go join a gym as your New Year's resolution.
That's also why I didn't include it in my list. That's a gift.
Right. Well, I have some things to add. So I'm gonna come back around to this a little bit later in the show too. But joining a gym, studies have found that 60% of memberships go unused, and surprise, surprise. And by mid-February, membership is back at regular levels, as it is for the rest of the year. So that tells you something. The people that are coming into the gym or getting new gym memberships in January, that's it doesn't work. Now,
not only that, but the beginning of the year, I correct me if I'm wrong, somebody fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's the most profitable time of the year for gyms because of all the people that are spending all of that money on gym memberships, and then they don't even use them for the rest of the time. Because usually it's like a year thing or whatever, 6 months. But yeah,
and then they spend the next 6 months trying to cancel it,
right?
Because they don't know who to talk to.
There's no doubt about it that absolutely, I guarantee you, it's like restaurants on Mother's Day. It's like grocery stores on the week before Thanksgiving.
Flower shops on
I
Valentine's
guarantee you.
Day.
Exactly. That the first couple weeks of January they've got to be. There's no way around. Let me see. So yeah, joining a gym is never a good idea at the beginning of January or as part of your resolution. Also, there's whole gyms, like there's whole corporations, like Planet Fitness is probably the biggest one that I think of. Why are they so cheap? Because they sell you a gym membership and expect you to not go. Like each Planet Fitness probably has thousands of members, but they couldn't accommodate thousands of people every day. They know that
the memberships are so cheap that they know like places like LA Fitness or, Gold's. I don't know what Gold's charges anymore, but places where it's like $30, $40, $50 a month. That's more of an investment. So people that are spending that kind of money are like, damn, I'm spending that much money. I got to go to the gym. But when you're just spending $8, $10 a month.
Yeah. Well, it's $10 for a black card, or for $10 for the base membership and $20 for the like VIP or whatever where you can tan and stuff, I believe. And
that's
so
just a Netflix
$10 to $20,
whatever.
Exactly. It's a Netflix membership. It's 2 cups of coffee from Starbucks.
Yeah.
So people are like, whatever, let's do it. So it's that cliche, or it's that common that people have built an entire business model. Companies have built entire business models around it. So getting away from gyms, this is kind of funny. A lot of people say, there's people who are, is it agoraphobia, where you're afraid of public places?
Yep.
Getting out more. Specifically in 2021 is probably going to be a bad resolution to have, just because of, the Rona. And
in a way though, I kind of think I kind of think the opposite, because there's a lot of people, like myself included, who have been working remotely for a lot longer than they ever expected. And that would actually be a decent resolution for me. I do get out pretty often, but just like in the morning, for example, like setting aside an hour to just walk around the neighborhood, just so I'm not sitting in my office most of the day, because that's before I had a routine and then everything got shaken up, and kind of just been the waiting game ever since. So I get a lot done, but I also do a lot of sitting on a computer editing.
Thankfully, my life didn't change at all.
Oh, there you go.
And I say that it's very tongue in cheek, because obviously it's very important for us to get out and socialize however you can. I mean, some places are some states and locales are freer than others with their laws and stuff, but we'll get into that. But but getting out more in general, I think in 2021 is maybe wait till 22 to make that a resolution.
Maybe
that you
wait
can
until
attain.
after the vaccines, cause World War Z, and just wait until all that dies down. You might want to hunker down for a while, because we don't know what's coming. So yeah.
And so that's a great segue into my next resolution, a terrible resolution. Those of you that have decided, times are strange, uncertain. I'm not really sure what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. So I'm going to get tactically squared away. This is a wrong resolution to have in 2021 for anybody that has been on the search for ammunition. Pistol or rifle ammunition, this is not going to be the year to buy it.
No, not just that though. It's not even just the ammunition. We're talking the components for making ammunition. Yeah. We're talking guns. We're talking gun accessories. Pretty much anything firearms related at all right now is bad. It's like worse than Obama level pricing. What did I see the other day? My friend Jordan sent me a screenshot from a Facebook group he's in, where people talk about things that they have for trade or whatever the heck. You can't sell things on Facebook anymore, but it's
right.
They skirt it however they do. But he had I think it was a PSA, just a standard PSA AR that he was selling for like $1,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, even the industry, like super like base, whatever, right. Smith and Wesson M&P.
No, that's not even base. I'm talking you're talking like Rock River or even lower than that. What are the really bad? I can't even think of them right now. But yeah, everything.
I always think
ATI with the plastic and polymer lowers and stuff.
Well, I think of when I say base, I mean, I'm thinking of like the cheapest, the least expensive
acceptable
AR platform that's acceptable for me. I mean,
sure.
I'm not going to say that I have one, but I may or may not have one in the closet. And that's a $450 rifle.
Yeah, something.
And those
like
are
that,
going for like $800-900 if you can find them.
They're super expensive right now. So yeah, it's not a bad resolution necessarily. Start somewhere other than firearms and maybe save that for once things cool down a little bit. I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Focus on other things like food storage and things like that. But even that's it's not like firearms, but getting tactically squared away. You're about 6 months to a year late on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what I got. So Chris, did you think of any while we were giving ours? You're like the guy at the restaurant. It's like, oh, you guys order first. I don't know. So have you had a chance to really peruse the menu?
I think I'm gonna have what Parrish had. So if your resolution is to get tactically squared away, that's the rotten. No, not really. I think you guys see. I don't really make New Year's resolutions so much. I don't know that I ever really did. I feel like I kind of more had things in mind before, but nowadays it's kind of like a just around the calendar thing. If I have something that comes up that I want to set my mind to, then I'll develop a plan and I'll come up with a way to get there. And that's kind of just how me and my wife do things. She's the same way, so it kind of works like that. But
Like it.
I don't know. You guys do resolutions still, or is that
Chaz? Do you do resolutions?
I don't normally. I did one this year.
Ooh.
It's been a rough couple of years, and this year I made the resolution that I wanted to build a better relationship with my kids.
That's a good one.
Over the next year,
Always a good one.
We're gonna have family meals daily, and once a week. I don't care if it's Saturday or Sunday, but once a week we're gonna do something, whether it be sit down and play a board game or go to a museum or something. Just something so that we can just form a better relationship together as a family unit.
You know what I like, and what sets that resolution apart from these worst ones that you guys were talking about, is that all the worst example resolutions were always like about this guy. It's about me. I want this, I want that. And yours is about, your family. You want everything to be, for everybody. You want to have a better relationship with your kids, which is going to be good for your kids. That's always something good. And it's good for you too, obviously, but it's not a selfish thing. That's a good resolution. Yeah. So there's a perfect example of a great resolution.
That. Hey.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. How about you, P-Dub? Did you have one?
Yeah. I mean, I've got the main one that I have, and I started. The reason I say this is, I really want to focus on my health this next year, and I'm aware of the fact that I said the worst resolution was joining a gym. So,
as long as you're not joining a gym, then you're good.
Right, exactly.
He's just going to maintain his gym membership.
Right.
So this is, and I thought this could be a cool, an opportunity to show, like, okay, this is the wrong way to do it. This is the right way to do it. In my opinion, I still hold that starting a gym membership in January to attain better health or lose weight or get stronger or whatever, it is not the right move, because you've kind of got to go broader than that. You've got to create culture for yourself.
Let me interrupt really quick. I'll go so far as to say that if you set a New Year's resolution to join a gym and get yourself into great shape, you're a failure already.
Yeah.
Yes. You have failed.
Can I elaborate on that?
Go for it.
Because that actually kind of ties into what I was going to go into next. Yeah, okay. I wanted my unpopular opinion for this week was going to be people fail with their resolutions because they don't know how to set them and set them appropriately. And that's, like you, that's you want to take care of your health, right? You right? You can do that. You're going to join a gym. Okay, that's not specific enough. You can't measure that. That's not right. You've already attained that. How is that going to help your health? You need to be more specific. Say, like, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 2 months by running on a treadmill 6 days a week for half an hour a day. That's an attainable goal.
Right.
Yeah, that's a goal. And I won't even say that that's an unpopular opinion. I think that's just a fact. Like, an unpopular opinion to me would be New Year's resolutions about joining gyms to get in shape in the next month are great, which they are. I think that's just a common sense, because just like you said, especially when it comes to getting into shape, it's not a goal with a finite amount of time. You're not just going to stop and you're finally going to be there. It's a lifestyle change. Like, that's what that should be about. So anyways, Parrish, back to you, because you started this whole thing.
Sorry. That's exactly, that's great. And that's all true. And I'm trying, my thing about it is I'm trying to pick up where I left off last year. It looks like we lost Chaz.
Yeah, Chaz dropped out, it looks like.
He'll be back.
Yep.
Where I left off last year, last January there was a thing with my work about getting healthy and stuff, and I really wanted to get healthy last year, and I had insurance for the first time in like a couple years, 2 or 3 years. So it was like started getting back to the doctor, started looking into like health stuff in that route, and I made a schedule for myself. I worked it in. Like you guys said, like attainable goals and making it real instead of like, I'm going to get a gym membership. Well, I didn't say that. I said, okay, I'm going to start waking up every day at 5 a.m., get on the road at 5:30, go to the gym, and then go straight to work from the gym. So I work for, my employer has a gym very close to where I work. And so I would go work out in the mornings before work, and I got it to where like the gym has a shower and stuff. And I got it to where like I was going to work in my gym clothes. In the morning, I would leave the house in my gym clothes and I would bring my work clothes with me for the office. It
becomes like a routine. Yeah.
Yeah. I made a routine out of it and it was phenomenal. I lost 40 pounds in 3 months and I got stronger. I got strong and I was running for 30 minutes at a stretch. Yeah. And then COVID happened and I have been remote ever since. And I will likely be remote I'm remote for the foreseeable future, working from home. And so that really messed me up. My health took a downward turn because my routine got messed up. And frankly, for the longest time, I was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm going to be back at work and back to my own routine soon. So I'm not going to try and rebuild or readjust to make all this other stuff work. So
that uncertainty really screws people up. That's
it messes me up bad.
Let's take what you just said, man, and let's back it up for a second, because this references back to what I said about the worst resolutions. You're talking about changing you're talking about changing who you are. Just get more specific with that. You can do that stuff, and you don't even need to go to the gym to do it. I mean,
exactly. What you don't need, especially when you're first starting off. Especially when you're first starting build yourself up. You don't need the gym.
Exactly.
Yeah. Get your Couch to 5K app. Instead of a gym membership that you got to put $100 down for, get a Couch to 5K app for $5 on your phone and start with that. And just start running and building up your stamina.
You got YouTube videos out there that have all kinds of exercise routines from beginner to advanced, and it's crazy the resources that are out there. And free apps and stuff that you can use. But body weight exercises, even like how many people can do 10 push-ups or 10 pull-ups or run a mile? Like there's some good places to start.
Here's a place to start. Lay down on your back on the floor and stand up without putting your hands on your knees or your body or on the floor. Just get up without using your hands. That in itself, and do that 10 times in a row. Start there. Go outside and run from one mailbox to the next, and then walk to the next mailbox, and then run to the next mailbox. It's
that's like 40 miles.
Well, for you, maybe find a neighborhood.
It's about setting realistic goals, and it's not just an end goal. It's here's the first goal, and then once I get there, there's this one afterwards, and this one afterwards, and it's okay to set a bunch out and then readjust as you get to the first couple. You might realize, man, I set these a little bit too tough. Let me cut it back a little bit. Or you might realize, wow, I'm doing better than I thought. Let me readjust, make it a little bit more difficult. But it's not just one fantasy, on a pedestal that you want to become Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Austrian oak physique by going to a gym for a month. Won't happen.
It's you can go better than that. It's like everybody, if this is something you're actually considering and you actually want to just Google SMART goals. It's an anagram, SMART. It's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. basically you if you take that goal and you make it specific enough and it's something that you can measure, it's that's what it's all about. You could probably download a couple worksheets or something like that to help you with it, but if you do that, I promise you'll get a better.
How many people
realistic goal
start on their journey to getting in shape and don't even take a picture of themselves like in their underwear as a before picture? How serious are you?
Or write down what they weighed.
Right. Take all the measurements, everything. Like, it's embarrassing. It is a wake up call sometimes. But
how do you know where you're starting? Yeah. How do you know where you're starting?
And to see the progress, right. Absolutely.
I do find it funny that here are two fat guys giving people advice on how to lose weight.
Hey, do as I say, not as I do. I think that too, one thing that has been, someone always, I heard someone say one time that if you're serious about stopping smoking, this was the example given to me. If you're serious about stopping smoking, you don't say, okay, when I finish this pack, you throw it out halfway through the pack, right? Because that's when you're serious about it, because you're throwing it away. Mm-hmm. And so I dig that. I get that. And for some people that works. So you can make a resolution or a goal. You can set a goal that you start on April 23rd. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be January 1st, 2021. For me, having that milestone of like, okay, this year, this is what I'm focusing on. That helps me, and that works for me because it's a good launch point. I think of it as like jumping into a pool on a diving board versus just kind of like falling into the pool from the side. January 1st, that resolution, that fresh new year is it's like a diving board for me, and it's not for everybody, and that's okay.
Your analogy is flawed, sir.
Your analogy is flawed.
Your analogy is flawed. One, it's all psychological.
Analogy right here.
It's all psychological.
Oh, absolutely.
And the reason it's helping you is it's not like you're jumping in from the diving board and from the side. You're just going to be the first one in. You're still going to go off the diving board. You're still going to do all the same things that you would do if you started it August 23rd, like you said.
Oh, certainly.
But you have that January 1st. It's the first. It's the beginning. That's what you've got drilled into your head. It doesn't matter.
Right.
The beginning's when you say it is.
It doesn't. But with stuff like this, it also doesn't matter if you start on January 1st or if you start on April 23rd. So if January 1st, if that works for you.
Yeah, maybe some people, just the fact that it is a new year, that's something that psychologically is enough of a boost for them to make that commitment. But when you do actually make the commitment, don't just think about that end result and not think about how you're going to get there and how you're going to continue with it, for sure. But speaking of commitments, I think everybody in the world should commit to retiring some phrases that have come out of 2020, because it has been a terrible year, and there's been a lot of bullshit phrases that have come out and been used a lot. So we decided we were going to throw some out there. So I'll tell you one that I would really love to get rid of, and not just the phrase, but, well, you'll see. So fake news. Holy hell. My God, would I love for all that to go away, and not just people saying fake news, but the accountability of news networks and media and just everything, that whole nasty web of crap. I would just love for it to go away, because it gets so frustrating having to see, like, I don't even go on social media anymore, and that's a big part of it, because you see stories posted and you think your first reaction is, wow, that really? But then, like, you look it up and you realize, no, this is just stupid. Like, the source isn't even a legit site,
Exactly.
And and then you're like, what? Oh, come on, why would you even post that?
Opinions are being reported as facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's my big one.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys didn't
that's
have
a big
that.
one.
Yeah, I would
Huge
love for that to be retired. That's all I
That's
got.
what you got, bud.
I feel bad because mine is nowhere near as deep as you went on that. And I 100% agree with you on that one.
What's funny is that I just thought of it like 10 minutes ago and wrote it down.
No, mine is WAP.
Oh God.
Oh my God. That was
Wait.
mine too.
No,
Yeah,
you think mine was better than that? No way.
Can we please retire WAP? And while we're at it, can we just
Everything to
retire? Can we
the
just retire Cardi B?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
And what's
Let's
her name?
just retire
Megan
all of Cardi.
or whatever the hell her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
It was a joint venture. Took two people to do that song.
Really? Megan the Stallion. Someone needs to tell her that a stallion is a male horse.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Wow. That needs to go away.
When I heard about that song / music video, because it's really like just a coup de grace on humanity itself.
Yeah.
It's, when I heard about it and I watched it for the first time,
I haven't even.
I really felt like a part of me just die. Like a part of the hope I have for humanity just die.
I said that when I first saw heard that song, I was like, this right here, this is like it reminds me of like the last days of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Like right before we fell into the dark ages.
It does.
Because when I was right out of high school, I worked at an outlet mall, and I wound up taking a job as a manager at a store that was very pop culture and trendy, which I am not. Okay. But I quit after 2 months. Not because the job was hard. I couldn't do it. No.
Wait. Because of the music they played?
Because of the culture that the company portrayed and we're trying to institute. The music that was playing, the videos that were on the screen, the apparel that was being sold. It's like, dude, it betrayed my soul as a human being to be in that facility. And that's what it brought that feeling back up when this song came out.
I will say that one of my summer jobs when I was in college was at Pack Sunwear. And this song was so much worse than that summer. I would work that entire summer again at Pack Sunwear with all the teeny bopper girls throwing clothes all over the place and having to listen to the same 10 pop songs over and over on their stupid radio thing, then have to watch that music video again.
I didn't want to go and like name drop companies and stuff, but
Parrot just dropped out. Everybody's having technical difficulties with video this time, but what company were you at, Chaz?
Journey.
Journey. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. For me,
I couldn't stand it, dude. I couldn't get behind it. It literally, it's like every day I went to work, if a little part of me died, it killed me. Oh my God.
I don't know though. This song was a little bit worse. Well, as we're waiting for Parrish to jump back in, you have any others on your list?
Ship. My kids say that all the time.
Ship?
Yeah.
Like is that like a substitute for the swear word?
No.
Or what?
No, it's supposed to be like hook up with or pair with or just shit like that. I honestly, dude, I'm not hip enough to really understand it. I just know I'm sick of hearing it. Because it doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
I have actually become that old guy.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the kids are saying these days.
I guess I must be that old guy too, because I don't think I've ever heard Parrish. Have you you explain this, Chaz, because I haven't heard this phrase.
Ship.
What phrase?
Ship. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the show back in the 70s with the cops on motorcycles.
That's chips, dumbass.
Yeah, right. No, apparently it's something that kids are saying. I haven't even heard of this, so
I've never heard that.
No confirmation yet that this is a real thing. So I don't know.
Chaz has
Google it.
Chaz
I can't explain it.
Chaz
I'll go get one of my kids if you want me to.
So
as far as I'm
my
concerned,
pullout game sucks, sir.
Chaz, I think that your kids might be forming kind of like, you see that movie Nell with Jodie Foster, where she and her sister grew up really remote and they learned a totally different language, kind of made up their own language. And so I think your kids might just be starting their own language, buddy.
We're just screwing with them.
What is chip?
I get you guys.
No, it's ship. Ship. S-H-I-P. I thought, my guess was that it was like a substitute for the swear word. Like, who gives a ship?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But no,
I don't
that's
give
not
a ship.
That's not what it is. Yeah. So I don't know. Okay, Parrish. Phrases. What do you got?
Well, I missed it. What is it? I'm dying to know.
We don't know. Chaz doesn't know.
Okay.
He just hears it all the time. I would love to know.
Pull it up on Urban Dictionary, or someone who knows. One of you youngins, one of you Gen Zers, one of you Zoomers.
Comment down.
Ship.
Jump into the comments.
Usually two people who ship, meaning that you either want them to become an item, kiss, or enter into a romantic sexual relationship, or all of the above. Usually when you ship someone, you smile when they interact or somehow become extremely giddy when they do something together.
I have no faith in society.
I don't either.
I have no.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just so sick of hearing this.
So let me ask you this.
Crazy.
Is this a reference to shipping something? Like, oh, they finally shipped, so now they're out for delivery or something? I don't know.
In a sentence.
Yeah, where is this coming from? What's the origin?
You guys are totally ship.
Castiel.
Say that again, Chaz?
I totally ship Dean and Castiel. Sorry, I'm going off the dictionary right now.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like shipping, like Amazon. It must be an Amazon thing. We'll say it's an Amazon thing. Parrish, what do you got, bro? Because this is too much for me.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Surely we are at the end. We have reached the end.
Yeah.
Omega dudes. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
All right. So I think social distancing is a phrase that I have really gotten annoyed with, really about maybe the fifth time I heard it. I was like, okay, we can make this one go away.
Definitely good now, yeah.
Yeah, social distancing. And I feel like that phrase has been around my entire life, and it's hard to believe that it's been less than a year that phrase has been around. It's freaking terrible. I hate it.
Yeah. What's crazy though is like the weird connotation that it has too. Like, social distancing, like staying away from anything social. It's like isolate yourselves.
Right.
Don't contact anyone. Just step away from your friends and family and go into the darkness and stay there.
A few years ago, this was like a psychiatrist diagnosis. I'm like, it seems that you're experiencing you're practicing a lot of social distancing, and we're going to need you to we're going to work on that.
Yeah, we got a little 5-step program to get you to reintegrate back into society because you're social.
Right.
This has been great for me. I hate people. It's like, need you to social distance. Great. That means I'm in the right when I turn around at Walmart and this guy's up my ass and I yell at him for it. Hey, bitch, back up.
Yeah.
And then kick his car.
I don't know, though, because at the same time, though, like, that's great. But when I'm driving around town in one of the worst towns for old people driving around, there's still a bunch of old people, and there's still people. The other day, I was driving down just a normal, 2 lanes, one going each way road, and I came to a 4-way stop. Another same type of road going, the perpendicular direction. And as I'm approaching, I see the blue lights, and I'm thinking, well, what happened here? Mind you, the speed limit on these roads is 30 miles an hour. As I get to the intersection, there's a cop and he's directing traffic because there's an SUV on its roof and a sedan on its side. How does this happen? And this is during this whole like lockdown social distancing time where like, you know, people are supposed to be not going out as much or whatever. And
Right.
you still got these idiots everywhere. So you can't escape it. It's everywhere.
It's true. And to keep on that same kind of we're in the same sphere there. Flatten the curve. Yeah, flatten the curve. It's hard to believe Flatten the Curve came out in 2020, boys, but it did. So I say we don't even have to retire that because it's already been retired. Somehow we've forgotten all about that. Y'all remember that?
No,
That
remember
sounds
that,
like
guys.
yeah,
we need 2 weeks. We need 4 weeks. That's
Right.
it. Just to flatten the curve.
But what's funny is when you said that, though, I was like, oh, that's that Flat Earth documentary on Netflix. And I was like, oh, wait, no, that's not.
That's a perfect name for a flat earther.
Yes, it is.
Flat
For a
Earther
Flat
doc.
Earth like group. Yeah, absolutely. Flatten the curve.
Flattening
Wow.
the curve. And the last one that I have is, and I fear maybe this isn't super well known. Maybe I've just been watching or listening to too many podcasts by Michael Malice.
Okay.
But meta. Are we familiar with this phrase, meta?
Yeah,
Like,
but it's
Chris,
been around.
like the way you talk, Chris, is like so meta. You're so meta.
And what's funny about that, it's been around a lot longer than 2020 because I've heard
Oh, really?
people say that, oh yeah, for years now. What's funny about it is that for the longest time, I didn't really understand, like, I didn't understand it because,
I still
and this is from someone that, not saying that I'm like a web programmer or anything, but I do understand HTML. I've done that. And there's like metadata, for example, or cameras can have metadata, or just any of that stuff can have metadata. So like that's where it came from. But the way that people use it, it's like they're saying like you're kind of like outside of what everybody's talking, like, you know, you're I can't even explain it still. Like I kind of understand it, but I hate it though.
Let me complicate this because so
Go
here's
for
the
it,
actual
please.
definition. Meta is an adjective. It's of a creative work referring to itself or to the conventions of its genre, self-referential. And the example used in this is the enterprise is inherently meta since it doesn't review movies, for example. It reviews the reviewers who review movies.
Oh.
That is absolutely no help to me whatsoever. It sucks, and I think it should go away outside of the Michael Malice podcast.
I agree. And have you noticed that for the most part, the people that use Meta are usually, I'll just leave it at that.
See,
Needs to be retired.
This is going to go back into my. This year hasn't really changed for me, and the social distancing thing has really kind of vindicated me because I have no idea what you guys are talking about, and I'm still okay with that.
And you're happy about that.
I am, because that would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
That's just because you're okay with yourself, Chaz, and that's a good place to be.
am.
So there's no shame in that.
Absolutely.
So, you know, something I really wanted to do for New Year's was put together kind of like a compilation of funny videos that came out this year, just as kind of like a fun thing, a fun way to kind of see the year out.
Yeah.
And then as I started going through my usual sources, you know, I went through the Reddit groups, there was an attempt, or like that had to hurt, or like all these groups that post funny videos, and searching by top videos of the past year. And I'm scrolling through, and man, did I really not recognize most of them. So I don't know if it's just because I haven't been paying as much attention this year, or if there just hasn't been as many like golden videos out there. So I'm going to play a few that I thought were pretty funny. There's one in particular that has become pretty popular recently, and I think most people will know this one just because it's kind of a current thing. But let me know. Yeah, let us know in the comments what funny videos have come out this year, because honestly, I feel like I kind of let everybody down for this show, because most years, I mean, I went everywhere. I went to like the E-Bombs world and the Chans and all these places, and I didn't recognize any videos as being particularly memorable from this year. And the ones that I didn't come out this year. I remembered them from years ago. So
yeah.
But I'm gonna play some.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So let me set this up really quick. I'm gonna set my my Skype here to screen share, just so that you guys can see what I'm playing, and then I guess here we go. This one, share that one. You guys got that screen?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. There we go.
Now you got it?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this first video here, let me pull it up here in the little monitor right here, is a pretty good one in my opinion. So I'm gonna press play right now. Here
Looks
we
like
go.
Like an outtake from the Shire.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so
Oh my
hold on,
gosh.
I'm gonna back this up. I'm gonna play this one more time just for everybody.
That's
my eye,
Frodo. Oh, right in his eyeball. Oh,
So-
Lord.
Ow.
So-
Ow.
The best part about this video is that just right before it happens, the first two things that are said, the guy against the tree says, "You better not miss," as he puts the can on his head. And
He
you hear
didn't
someone
miss.
off camera, this guy that's on the right that runs
Yeah.
in at the end, you hear him say, "This is a dumb idea." And immediately afterwards, he shoots the paintball right into his eyeball. Literally, he could not have aimed that any more perfectly.
You're telling me there was nobody off camera saying, "You'll shoot your eye out." Come on, man.
Yeah, he probably got that paintball gun for Christmas after everyone telling him he's
Wow.
going to shoot his eye out.
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And a
Okay,
visitor.
so what's
Very
that?
bad.
Oh, hey,
Say hi.
hello.
Now go back to
No.
bed.
She doesn't want to say anything. No. Man, how big she's gotten. That's crazy. Okay, so it looks like the one that I'm going to play last is actually next. So I'm going to go backwards here. So this one is pretty funny, I thought. It's like a little meme tag at the top, and it says "Firefighters in reverse are just plain evil." So what they did was they reversed a video of firefighters pulling kids out of a building. I'm going to play this right now. So it looks like they're picking up children and handing them up
Like,
and putting them back
throwing
into
them
the
in.
building burning, the burning building.
pretty building.
They're just picking up little kids and handing them up a ladder. Wait,
And
well,
the
I gotta-
mother's in on it too.
They're just
what happens when you don't listen to Santa. I told you he was going to get you.
I told you to eat your broccoli. You should have listened.
yeah, COVID still hasn't gone away. The gods are mad. We have to offer them a sacrifice. Yeah, I am terrible video jockey here, but okay, so there's that. Next video. This one goes along perfectly with 2020 because, as we talked about in a previous show, a lot of baseball and professional sports are starting to sell cardboard cutouts that you can have in the stands. So you can be at these games even though you're not really at them. So I'm going to play this video really quick. This is a guy that snuck into Dodger Stadium and hid amongst the cardboard cutouts.
And
every time he's-
I saw him.
And the cameraman, they keep going back to him. That's the best part.
That's great.
But half
I
the
just love how they
time,
left him alone.
yeah.
How many innings did he make it?
As far as I know, he was probably there the whole game. I mean, who's going to kick him out? You know, what are they going
Right.
to do? Yep. So the best part about this in my opinion. Let me I'm actually going to pull this back to get on a frame where he's sitting there. The best part about it is half the time whenever he sees himself on like the, Jumbotron or whatever the big monitor is, like he tries to hold still, so like he looks more like a cardboard cutout for anybody that might be looking at the video at that time. But what a good idea. Yeah, sneaking in and just hiding amongst the car. I probably would have cut
a long straw.
Right? So he doesn't have to like keep lifting it up or whatever. Yeah, I probably would have cut the eyes out of a cutout though and like gotten behind it and, had the shifty eyes. But yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
So
that's great, man. Good on him. Good for you, buddy.
And that one I hadn't even seen, but when I saw it, I was like, that video almost perfectly sums up 2020 because there you are, social distanced among a bunch of fake people all alone to watch your sports game.
Yeah, but how is that different than any other day?
You got social interaction, I guess, probably mostly unwanted, but yeah, and besides, who wants to be in Dodger Stadium? But
I know, right?
And that's all you
who
got. Who
wants to be in LA? Come on.
No, thank you. Last video, and I will warn everybody in advance, there is a lot of vulgarity in this. It's just kind of how the video is. If you have any kids that are watching or anybody that is sensitive to harsh language or I would say moderate violence, you might want to take them and put them in another room or something now. But forgive us in advance for the language. We don't condone this type of language, but it's a good video.
Now I'm super excited to see it.
Oh, yeah.
So drunk guy.
He's drunk.
Yeah. In the convenience store.
Just hope he was drunk.
Oh, he was drunk.
He could just be an
ignorant. He was lit. Nah, he was lit.
Talking to a black dude, dropping N-bombs like it's going out of style.
It's a disgusting thing to do anyway.
What, you gonna smack me with that?
I loved it. Smack me!
Oh. He was
beautiful.
Wait.
Beautiful.
Wait. So let me go back just a little bit because I want you to pay attention to something because there was a comment that was it was perfect, okay? So here we go. Just listen. Did you hear the door like opening chime? What the comment said was that was his soul leaving his body.
I've been seeing that's one thing is, this is why, guys, this is kind of like the evil genius telling his master plan to the hero right before he kills him, and then that's what always ends up giving him enough time to get out of his binds or whatever.
Right.
Like, guys, you don't get, like, when it's about to get real, you don't go do some flair stuff, man. Any fancy stuff, it ended up still working in the guy's favor, but he tossed the twisted tea up in the air and did the spinny with it and dropped it and almost ruined the video.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost
I don't think he was actually going to hit the guy.
Oh, I think he was. I
don't think he was going to hit the guy until the guy went to kick him, and then that was just done.
Nah, this is what he was going to do. This right here, he was going to take it. He was going to go wah-ga-ga-ga.
Yeah,
but
he wanted to do it with style. Yeah, and
just get her done, man.
That's karma, though. When you try and showboat a little bit, you're probably going to get hit by karma, and it's gonna bite you. But luckily, he was able to save the situation, and
he still was
damn. Yeah, dude, that guy got biffed.
Yeah.
What bothers me about this, it's actually got nothing to do with the scenario, because I think the guy did a good. Everything served him right. I mean, he gave the guy what he deserved. And I heard that the guy that used the tea is actually, he had a prior records, and now he's back in jail, and the kids suing him. Yeah.
Oh,
But
come on.
all the comments are what gets me is how they were telling him about how the guy overreacted. Like, I don't think so.
No.
Like, you get that kind of ignorance and that level of stupid, intoxicated on top of it around you.
I will say this. I will say this. When somebody is like drunk like that and just spouting off, in my opinion, if he's not a danger to somebody, which this is very questionable, obviously, because he was, taunting people and whatever, but walking away is probably the best thing unless he's a danger, because you never know. That guy could have a knife in his pocket or something, and next thing you know, you end up stabbed in the throat because you did something like that. So it's hard to say, but it's not me. I wasn't there. This guy did what he did, and frankly, I don't blame him for it.
Nope,
this guy getting in his face, everything.
And look, we've got some positivity here. This is a great video that we can enjoy for years to come.
It's already become a meme.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, I've been getting so many memes of like people like superimposing cans of Twisted Tea over like Negan's bat from Walking Dead, like pictures of like guys with their pistols, like with like blocks with a paint, like a dipped. Yeah, dipped in
Twisted Teas.
Yeah. Like that's when you know that you've reached stardom nowadays, is when the memes are just flowing and flowing all throughout the internet. So how'd
you get famous? I bitch slapped him.
I do feel bad. I do feel bad that the guy, he was, so what was the story, Chaz? Say it again. He has a record or something like that.
I read this in a comment section somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, there goes your video again. So you read it in a comment section somewhere, and what?
I just read it in a comment section somewhere in regarding this, and I didn't have a chance to fact check it because it was like right before we got on here to do this.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's just some of the things people were saying about him. It bothers me, and I think
like trying to make it sound like he was the one that was completely in the wrong in the situation or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see, I don't buy that at all.
I don't either. I think the man is justified. I think he did the right thing. Honestly,
I'm for it.
You get
I think and the thing is though is that if the dude is that drunk that he's gonna get in just anybody's face like that, who's to say that he's not going to do it to some like defenseless, woman or teenager or something like that? When you're at that level of stupidity because you're drunk, maybe he stopped him. Maybe he stopped him from doing something really bad. I don't know.
That's a combination of the two. That's stupidity that got drunk.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yes, I do.
And you know what I'm talking about. It's just yeah. Anyway, good picks on videos there, buddy.
Well, I appreciate it. If anybody, if anybody out there in the comments has any other videos that are just so notably 2020, they came out this year, obviously we missed them. I messed up. I'm willing to admit it. I did go through a lot of places looking for these videos just to, I was ready because I was going to put a bunch of these things together. And the more I went through, I was like, man, I just don't remember any of these. But yeah, if there's something that I blatantly missed, put them down in the comment section. Let us know. What
were some good viral videos? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll throw them up next week. I'll even put your username by them. We'll give you shout outs and everything. We'll throw you as many props as a channel as huge as us can.
Absolutely.
As long as it's not the WAP video. I'll die a little on the inside.
We'll not put that up. Absolutely not. I hate that video.
No, because what WAP video? We retired it.
That's retired. That's that's on the shelf.
Yeah. So let's see. Enter segue into Parrish's EMS stories here.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't see that coming.
I couldn't think of a segue, but look, here's the thing. I'm gonna end this off right. guys, one of the things that you need to keep in mind as we go into this new year is you need some levity. You need to have fun, like that last video that Chris played, some lily white dude dropping N-bombs on at a black dude while standing in a line at the convenience store. Yeah, there's a lot of negative there. There's a lot of bad stuff, but we can sit there and watch that video and we can laugh about it. So inserting levity into,
but it's kind of like a metaphor for 2020. 2020 is that drunk fool dropping N-bombs, to a black man's face and threatening him. And what that black dude did was what all of us need to do to 2020. Just take that twisted T and smash 2020 in the face with it and move forward.
Oh yeah, and and likewise, when you have something very bad and you want to insert levity into it, and to keep your sanity, to have fun. It's EMS is filled with that, and so we were always doing fun, crazy stuff like that to kind of like keep our sanity amid very bad situations day to day. And so one of the things that you get into in all first responders, EMS, police, fire, all of them, we really get into pranks. We have a lot of fun with pranks, and some prank harder than others.
You mean pranks amongst yourselves, I'm assuming? Like pranks between, the first responders, not pranks on, you're not pulling up to somebody that's choking and being like, oh, I forgot my choke fixer in the other ambulance.
My choke fixer?
Well, there was... I'm not gonna lie. Look, not if anybody was like life threatening or anything, but one of the things that's a great example. That opens up a great example. One of the things that we would have patients who wanted drugs and they wanted, like a benzo or something. They would fake like they were having a seizure, and a lot of times we knew who these people were. It was kind of it was a city, but it was a smaller city. So like we would see the same people over and over again.
Frequent flyers.
So frequent flyers. And we'd see these, someone would be faking like they're having a seizure or that they're passed out. And they're doing that in hopes that you'll give them, whatever drug they're seeking, or take them to the hospital and they can get drugs that they're seeking. Mm-hmm. And this was so common that we got to where we could recognize it pretty easily. And one of the things that we used to do, or that I used to do, and I got this from another person, was you would say, you first thing you would do is they'd be out or something, and you'd take, if I'm lying on my back, right? You'd take their arm out and you'd hold their hand, aim it right above their face. Okay, so if your hand's above your face and you're laying on your back and you let go of the hand, it's going to come smack you in the face, right? Mm-hmm. And they would never do that. They would never do that because they weren't passed out. You'd get them. They'd be like, and then you do it again, and like, and their hand would drop all around the room.
Please tell me they made that noise too every time.
Yeah, right. So one of the things that we would do is like, I would say, oh my God, we need to give him some epinephrine quickly. Give me the no, not the big needle. The big needle. We got to go straight to his heart with this one, and they would be like. Make sure that I heard them like waking up. They're like, oh, what happened?
Not that needle. Yeah. I need the Pulp Fiction needle.
No, the big one. Give me the big one. We got to go straight to his heart. And they would, okay, I'm good.
Oh, it's a miracle.
So, yeah. We used to there was things like that. That was a lot of fun. But then also we had we had, we would prank each other pretty good. So like before I started there, I would hear stories all the time of guys who put Lasix in each other's drinks. And so Lasix is a powerful diuretic. It's made for people who collect if you collect you like pool fluid, it'll pool in your fingertips, in your hands, and in your feet furthest away, because it's long story, but the heart's having a hard time moving fluid through your body and stuff. Essentially,
sure.
So you pool this liquid and it makes your fingers and hands and feet swell up, and it can be really painful. It can be dangerous.
Yep.
And so we give Lasix as a diuretic, and it makes your body basically makes you pee a lot. So you get rid of that excess fluid. But like I said, a powerful diuretic. And so guys would put Lasix in each other's drinks during shift, and and they'd go out on calls and have to use like the bathroom of the person whose house they were at. Or like there's one guy, he basically he was out on a car wreck in the middle of like nowhere, and they were working the scene and stuff, and he had to go up into the woods.
Oh gosh.
And just like, let me know when it's time to go. Like he couldn't leave. So that was fun. Me personally, some of that stuff, like you couldn't like waste drugs when I was there. I mean, I imagine that, right?
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things, we would rotate stations every 3 months. And so one thing I always tried to do whenever we would leave the station is anything that was battery operated. So that's going to be your TV remotes. That was the big one. But things like that, anything that operated off of a battery, I would take the batteries out and just flip them backwards. And so like the battery's there, the weight hasn't changed, but then if by chance I was able to make it back into the station after a shift or two, I would because they've thrown the batteries away, they've put fresh ones in, and I would come in any chance I got and just flip them again, and make them just wonder like, why is this TV remote? Why does the battery?
I could totally see as well, because when you open like a remote up, you see the position the batteries are in, and instantly you're thinking they're in there the right way. So when you go and get the new batteries and you put them in that direction, and it doesn't work, and you're like, wait, what? And then,
people just be using new batteries left and right.
Yeah.
So another thing, that was just a small thing I did. Another thing I did, some of our stations that we worked in, they would have if they had like an attic, they would have like an attic with a drop down thing. And so one thing I liked to do, if there was like a change in the middle of the night, let's say we're on a call and our part of the county doesn't have anybody covering it, they would pull somebody out of the city into our station to just hang out there in case we got a call, because we're way over here, just to make sure that your coverage, area coverage. So like someone would come into our station and I would, or no, that's what it wasn't covering our station. We were covering their station because I didn't want to tear up my own stuff. So like we would go into a station and there'd be nobody there, and I would like open up the attic and I would put like a white sheet up in the attic, but so it was hanging like halfway down, like out of the attic to make, and then I would just leave it there, and I would kind of stage it up, maybe kind of make a mess around the bottom or something, and just to where like they would walk in, and I don't know. I think I was thinking along the lines of like The Grudge,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, when you first described it, I thought you meant like you put it up on the stairs so that when they opened it, it would kind of like fall down, but not all the way. And then, they'd be like, oh, it's a scary ghost.
I would leave it open and down because I think that I think that like the creepy, oh my gosh, what is that? Is more powerful than you know what I mean? Like just like opening it and something jumps out at you.
It would have been
like
great?
having them.
Sorry to interrupt, but if you had instead just opened it up, turned off the lights or some of the lights, and then got some like water, like dumped it out in the dirt and got your boots all nice and muddy and put muddy boot prints going up into the attic, but not coming back down.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that. But I had a couple calls from people like, hey, you guys need to come back here. Like, because it'd be later on in the evening. They're running calls. We go back to our station, get sent back to our area. And then I'd get a call like, did you guys like come up into the station? No. Like, no, what are you talking about? And they'd say, something along the lines of, well, y'all need to come back here because I'm not going back up there alone. I'm sitting in the truck. Yeah, so we had fun with that. My favorite story, and this isn't something that just because logistically it didn't work out, but I totally would have done this. This story was handed down to me by a fireman who had been around for a long time, and he said that the firehouse was situated above, like kind of overlooking where I believe where the police or where emergency responders would get gas, where they would gas up their vehicles.
Sure. I
believe that was the case. And so they would have, people would go over there and gas up, and they could see them out their windows. And, it's fire stations like 4 or 5 stories high, whatever. And so one thing that they did was they would get a fishing pole, and they would get donuts, and they would hook the donuts onto the pole and open the window and put the pole out the window and lower it down whenever the police were gassing up their cars, and they would go cop fishing. Apparently pissed a few guys off. Another one one of the guys did was, oh gosh, this is so bad. One of the guys that had he kind of had a hard time taking jokes, like he took things seriously a little bit too much.
Those guys.
Yeah, so instead of just like he's lame, they leaned into it.
Of
right?
course.
They said, okay, well, it's just going to be really bad for you, bro. And so they go. He had gotten like an Xbox or a new Xbox 360 or something. I don't remember what it was at the time, but and he left it, or he brought it into the station. And so while he was out on a call at one point, one of the guys took the Xbox away, and he hid it, and the guy was like looking around for. He's like, "Who took my Xbox, guys?" And so like he got madder and madder and madder, and I think they had it for like several days, for like a couple shifts. So like the end of the week, this dude's like, he's just flaming mad. He's so angry. He's like, guys, I'm gonna do a police report and da da da. And he's turning red, like yelling at people, and like the captain or someone comes out of his room, and he says, "Hey man, you know what? I'm so sick and tired of hearing this." And he brings out the Xbox, and he's like, "Look here, dude, you can't even freaking take a joke. Here's your stupid Xbox." And he takes it, and he just like, I'm all on the floor, and it goes into like 1,000 pieces. And the dude's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you!" And like guys were like holding him back. It was a broken Xbox.
I was gonna say it has to have been, but I was really hoping that it was his.
They went out and got a broken Xbox. And like set all of this crap up. It's amazing. It's amazing. Awesome. And I mean, like, just he like chucked it on the floor. Pieces go flying everywhere. This dude was straight up he was ready to murder. He was seeing red. He was like, he had like 3 guys hold.
Man.
So I think that I think that switched him.
So this is maybe you guys have seen people do this before, but I thought it was pretty funny. I can't remember if someone did it to me or not, but it's a good idea. If anyone gets a new phone, you have to kind of plan in advance a little bit, because you got to grab something that's, of a similar size or whatever, like I don't know, if you have an old broken phone, that would be ideal, but you could even use like a deck of cards or whatever, something like that. Have it in like your pocket, and they're like, oh man, cool, can I see that? And grab it, and then pretend like you drop it right away, but drop whatever the other thing is, so they hear it just hit the deck. Brand new phone hitting the ground, and most people are going to be pretty pissed off for a second, but it's a good, quick, practical joke.
Right. But like
speaking of workplace of pranks, I worked for a company that it was mostly guys, and there were some pretty good pranks that went around, but my favorite one was people would ship things to us because it was like a manufacturer, like parts manufacturer, so they'd ship in like custom parts that we had made or whatever. But every time they did, they always addressed it to the same person. It was the salesperson, and he was kind of like the same kind of guy who would always get really mad about things. And it would always be something like, special delivery, like the actual return address would be like special delivery from something, a custom adult toys or something like that. And it would be like, extra long dildo, blah, 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 like something. But every time it would come, it'd be some sort of adult toy writing all over the box addressed to him. So every time somebody like, hey, yeah, your toys are in. He's like, what? And he'd come, he'd be so mad, just fuming about it every time. But it had spread so far that all the people that sent stuff, every time, everyone would do the exact same thing. Pretty good. It's pretty good. I can't imagine how long that had been going on, but
that's great.
That's awesome.
Oh man.
Well, guys.
Yep. Getting a little late, and I think it's about time to end this show here. Yeah, because we got New Year's coming up here, so we got to get prepped up. And
I just want to say in closing, I really appreciate Tim Poole coming in on this podcast and joining us. It's been a real treat.
Our first celebrity guest. That's really cool of you, Tim. So,
yeah.
Appreciate it.
Boys, I hope y'all have a awesome, happy, wonderful, joyous New Year.
And safe.
Yes.
And safe, yes. And, make good decisions. And I'll see you in 2021 then.